Friday night. It is the end of the week. It is 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Are you ready to talk about video games?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I meant that to be sarcastic, but given the state of the world, it's not like we could be going to the strip club, going to the Sizzler, going to the strip club, then going to Sizzler. There's just nothing to do anymore.
Let's be real, though. We would just talk about video games while we're there.
We would probably go to the strip club and the Sizzler and talk about video games the entire time. Actually,
you'd be telling the stripper about the new Mass Effect trilogy.
That's right. I really need to get through this podcast, Michael, because I don't know what happens in episode 5 of WandaVision, but everyone,
haven't seen it yet.
Everyone, I'm like on the press. I'm like going through life with my hands over my eyes, kind of like looking through my fingers, because I feel like I'm right on the verge. Everybody wants to tell you what the fuck happened in episode 5 of WandaVision, and I'm just like, it's been one day, motherfuckers. It has been one day, and I haven't seen it yet. Shut up. But
yeah, I watched it before work because already people were getting very close to spoiling it on my Facebook page. And I was like, okay, I got to see this before everyone fucking ruins it for me.
Well, unless you spoil it for me on this podcast, I think I've managed to get through. And if you do that, we're not friends anymore.
See, there's a Pepsi reveal.
No Pepsi.
Because all Wanda wanted was a Pepsi.
No. So, yeah. Welcome back, everybody. I don't know. Did I already do the intro? It's the Rage Select podcast. Here, Rage Select. I'm Jeff. Did we do that part?
Said the Rage Select part.
Yeah.
But
who are you? Identify yourself.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we got WandaVision. Also, I've gotten off a track. I can't go into the anime section on the Rage Select Discord anymore because I'm a week behind with the new Attack on Titan. Like, Attack on Titan comes out on Sunday, and I watch it on Friday of the next week, and like, I don't want to know. It's too good. It's too good. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
You see, Wanda shows up.
No spoilers. No spoiler alert. Yeah. Oh my God, that would be the worst. You spoil both. If you could start spoiling like two entirely separate genres at the same time because there was a secret crossover, and then Lady Dimitrescu is also a Titan. What the fuck?
That actually would be very amazing if that did happen.
Yeah, it would. Actually, I'll tell you what. I did watch one thing last week. And I feel like I have some really weirdly mixed feelings about it, but I gotta get them off my chest. Michael, have you heard of the cinematic phenomenon known as PG Psycho Goreman?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Because I think they did it for one of us not that long ago.
Yes, PG Psycho Goreman is this crazy fucking Shudder movie. So here's the thing. Do you know, Michael, have you ever been on the internet? Have you ever been to the internet? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you know how on the internet, like if you know how people are like, but how did Bruce Wayne get from Bane's country all the way back to the United States? That's ding, plot hole, cinema sin. If you're the kind of person who watches a movie and notices shit and you're just like, that doesn't make any sense, that's stupid, don't watch Psycho Goreman. Do not watch Psycho Goreman, because it is a really, really fun, horrible, bad movie that is awesome yet terrible. Basically, the plot of the movie is that like this psychotic demon alien man falls to Earth, and this precocious young girl and her brother find an artifact that could control the Psycho Goreman, who wants to destroy the Earth, eradicate all life in the universe, and destroy everything with the hate in his heart. But he can't, because like an 8-year-old girl has control of him and is making him do stuff with the artifact that she finds. And any more information than that would probably be too much if you want to just let the waves of insanity that is Psycho Goreman wash over you. But I will say that Psycho Goreman, there is a surprising amount of lore, a weird backstory. It reminds me of like an 80s movie. Like, it's not exactly like this, but did you ever watch Meet the Feebles?
Yes, just once.
Okay.
Many years ago.
Because you should never watch it more than once. That's enough. That's enough times.
It's true.
Where, like, there's all this crazy iconography, and you get the impression there's all this wackadoo backstory. Like like we keep cutting away to outer space and there's stuff going on there and there's all kinds of like crazy puppets and weird special effects and then like horrible gore, and it's kind of awesome, but it's also like schlocky and terrible, but also kind of awesome. Like if you have Shudder,
really good things.
Yeah, if you have Shudder, you should watch it. And if you get through like 25 minutes of it and you're like, this is stupid, you should turn it off and then not watch it anymore. Don't hate watch it all the way to the end. I guarantee you, if you're not into it in the first 25 minutes, you're not going to be into it in the back 105 minutes. Like
there are two types of people: the ones that go, "This is stupid," and turn it off,
yeah,
and the ones that go, "This is stupid," and then giggle and then keep watching.
Right. I really fall into the second category of what you've just described there. So yes, I wholeheartedly endorse Psycho Goreman as long as you know what you're getting into. There was a single moment in that movie that probably made me laugh harder than I've laughed at a lot of stuff on my television in quite a while. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. What about you, Michael? What have you been up to this last week?
I finally finished Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, there you go.
And that game, like, because I decided to finally start it back up again, and I finished all of the side missions that were like plot related, and so I was like, okay, that means I should probably get through the rest of this. And then I did, and I murdered everybody, as you do. And it was great. It was a great game. I thought it was amazing. I haven't even touched the Legends mode still, but the main plot was really good. There's the choice at the end, and I made the murder choice.
Probably for the best,
as it's called.
Probably for the best.
And I thought it was fantastic. I may end up playing it again. Maybe try to do the black and white mode to see how it looks and put it in Japanese.
Oh, Kurosawa mode?
To see how much different it probably would feel that way. But it was fantastic. Other than that, I've been watching Justice League and Brave and the Bold because they put both of those on HBO Max recently.
Did they put Justice League Unlimited on HBO Max?
Yes, they put both of them.
Oh.
Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Oh.
And so I started up Justice League because for a little bit, and then I'll get to Unlimited whenever I get through Justice League. But they put Brave and the Bold on there, so I had to watch Brave and the Bold because I love that fucking show so much.
Michael, I don't understand why you would watch any of these DC shows. As I understand it, you think Superman is stupid and overpowered, and nobody's ever written a good Superman story, right? That's where you're coming from. If I understand no, is that not what?
Unless his name is Zack Snyder, but that's different. That dude's never made a good.
Did you see that?
Never.
Did you see that Zack Snyder thing today where he's just like he was responding to some book or some author or some article or something? He's just like, you fucking nerds don't know anything about superheroes and everything you say is stupid. And it was
oh my God.
More than that, but it was just like all the frustration that Zack Snyder must be feeling about people shitting on his horrible superhero movies for years just like came out in this one interview, and the fucking claws came out, and I was just like, shut up, Zack Snyder. You killed Jimmy Olsen because you couldn't think of anything better to do with Jimmy Olsen.
Because you thought it was fun.
Yeah. You know, it'd be fun. I love it when people get shot in the face. I mean, let's be very clear here. In Psycho Goreman, I love it when people get shot in the face. In a Superman movie, I'm kind of anti... Or even, I don't even mind if somebody gets shot in the face, right? If Lex Luthor shoots somebody in the face, and you're like, what a bad guy. But Jimmy Olsen gets shot in the face because...
reasons.
Question
Also, he was
mark?
really giddy that he has Batman say the F word in his Justice League cut.
Yeah, because is it PG-13 where you get one fuck?
Yeah, but they said this new one's R, the 4-hour cut that he's made.
Oh, right.
It's been completely like, this is an R-rated movie, so people are like, I guess everyone's gonna say fuck. I think one of my favorite memes is that like it's like Superman enters scene, sup fuckers.
Oh my God. When will they Michael, when will they take Superman away from this horrible, abusive monster that
I don't know.
That keeps being like, you know what people want is a super fucking dark Superman. Super dark. That's what people want out of Superman, is they want him to be like mean and depressed and just like just no, I don't want it.
DC always learns the worst possible fucking lesson every time one of these movies does well.
They liked it when Batman was dark, so like Superman should be dark too, bro.
Everyone should be dark.
Yeah. Then we have a story later on in here about game development that is, I feel like, is a lot like this, where it's like, does nobody pay attention to what's going on? How did you think that this was going to work? Anyway, we will get to that. But before we get to that, okay, this week we had a gigantic amount of Mass Effect news.
The large mass of them.
Yes,
they would say.
It was effective as well. Apparently, they had this trailer that came out that was kind of like the first, it was the first. Why the hell is my? Okay, never mind. It was the first kind of gameplay trailer. Like, it wasn't just cinematic. It was showing actual in-game footage of Mass Effect.
Okay.
And then apparently, from what I've known from the news articles that we've got to go over, there was a lot of like letting journalists get hands-on and answering questions about various details. So before we start here, Michael, give me a general overall gauge of interest about Mass Effect Legendary Edition from you, from like say 3 to 7, 3 at the high end, 7 at the low end. Between 3 and 7, how would you gauge your interest? Also, decimals are allowed when you're making your calculations.
3 to 7?
Yes. 3 is the high, 7 is the low. From 3 to 7, where do you think you are? 4? 4.2? I'm just trying to make this needlessly obtuse because...
Maybe like 5.
Okay.
Like I'm in the middle, I guess. Because I like the idea a lot, but I'm also not keen at the large amount of time it would take for me to get through all of that series.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the things that I keep kind of coming back to is like... I mean, I don't know. So here's the thing.
I'm excited for people who've never played it because that gives them an incentive to do something like that. But I've already done it before, and my shepherd was my shepherd the whole way through.
Yeah. And
I don't have the time I did when I did that to do it all over again.
Well, also, it should be noted that the time between those games were like, 3 20-hour games spread out over the course of like, what was it, 7 or 8 years or something like that?
I wasn't even counting all the DLC. I didn't even do all the DLC for, I think, 2 or 1.
Yeah.
Or 3 for that matter.
So I have been finding myself looking at this and being very, like, I'm not very excited. And I look inside myself and I go, why am I not excited? And I think the answer is because, like, I liked Mass Effect 1 when it came out, but I don't really have any interest in going back and playing it because I mean, like, part of what they're doing here is they're trying to change some of the, like, they changed the HUD and some of the auto aim functions and some of the stuff in Mass Effect 1 to try to make the combat in Mass Effect 1 more on par with Mass Effect 2 and 3, because Mass Effect 1 was a little bit more RPG-ish than 2 and 3
were.
Hella
RPG-ish. Its menus took forever to go through because there's so much to customize in that thing.
Yeah, and like and the other thing that I think is just like, okay, so one, I'm not really super interested in going back to, I mean, I don't even like, not a lot even stood out to me from 1. What's her face is racist, and like you get to choose whether Rex dies, and like there's the Arachnite Queen or whatever, but like I don't really even remember who the last, who's the guy, there's like a guy, he's the bad guy, the guy that gets like
the last
Reaper-fied.
Yeah, the bad guy is like, he used to be a Spectre that's like part of Garrus's race.
Yeah.
And he's basically supposed to be like the really, like, he's supposed to be the big cop, essentially. Like, everyone respects this guy, even though it turns out he was already kind of a crazy person even before that, but nobody ever called him out on it.
He
gets Reaper-fied anyways.
He's Reaper Sinestro, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Reaper Sinestro.
So like,
you're fucking Green Hal Jordan, basically.
Yeah. So 1, I don't know. Like, I've never gone back and replayed Mass Effect 1. I think a lot of that was because I don't think it aged very well. And then, remember Grant and I played all the way through Mass Effect 2, and I think that doing that maybe lowered my opinion a little bit because it had been a long enough that Mass Effect 2, either that or I don't know, Grant just hated Tali so much that it rubbed off on me, and so
it's possible.
And then like I still remember that the ending of Mass Effect 3 is like okay, and so the idea of playing these 3 games to get to what I know is going to be like an okay but not mind-blowing ending. It's kind of like, I was thinking about it the other day about it kind of being like Game of Thrones to me, right? Where like when you know that the ending is like okay, do you really want to go through that entire story just to get to the ending and be like, oh right, it's like it's
That's the thing.
fine.
It's like I loved playing all three of them, and I even at one point I did buy them again when I owned a PS3 because I was like, maybe I'll do this again one day, but I just never had the time. Like it's just because Mass Effect, the entire Mass Effect trilogy is so large.
Yeah.
And with all of its DLC and all of the choices you can do and so many different things, it's just like it is a giant space opera that lasts forever.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and that's great if you have the time for it. Like it's fantastic. I still recommend the series, to be honest, because you still feel like you're part of it. But I like, for me, like I said, I've already done it. The ending isn't that super good either, so it's like like you said, I don't really feel like going through that entire thing just to get that sense of disappointment again.
Which
even if they have an updated ending since the original terrible ending, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that like I'm not saying the ending is awful or anything. It's just kind of like it went from like boo to like, okay, this is acceptable. This is up to acceptable ending level for your franchise.
You're like, that's fine. It's no longer Buzz Aldrin just being like the shepherd.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. But hey, you know what? Some people like Mass Effect. Matt was telling me, his wife replays Dragon Age over and over again, apparently, and I'm just like, I don't get that. Like, but a lot of that is probably also the fact, like, I should just very much be upfront with this about like, I'm not a replay the game over again guy for the most part. Like, if it's just a re-release, I'm not. You know what? Okay, this happened last generation too. Remember, Mike? That like last generation, at the beginning of the generation, the whole thing was we're going to release every game from the previous generation with like an upgrade to the PS4 version of Darksiders, the PS4 version of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, right? Like it's a better looking version. And a lot of them, it was just like, I didn't engage that much with that stuff because it was like, I already played that game. I'm more interested in playing new games than I am in going back and replaying stuff over again. That's just like a personality trait for me. So like, I want to make it clear that like, there's nothing, I don't think that there's anything wrong with this. I don't think it looks bad or anything, but I personally am just less interested in playing this than I am in something new, in something brand new that comes out.
No, that's fair. Yeah. It's just like, I'm still a big fan of, this whole series. I still think it's great, like you said, this day, but it really is a time thing. And like you said, I would rather at least try to do some newer games or replay games that won't take up that much time.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. Well, in any case, I tell you what, let's go over some of the actual stuff that's going on here. So it appears that the big thing is that they've added, okay, so in the first game, they've added kind of like a lighting pass. And they've actually, I was reading a thing where they talked about in the first game being able to like essentially render the game a second time over the first pass in order to do like a lighting texture particle pass. And like, yeah, when you look at these like side to side screenshots they've got, like, yeah, it looks a lot better. Like just lighting effects and just some particle effects and smoke and stuff. Like the actual geometry a lot of times is kind of similar, but like with this stuff added in, it does look quite a bit better.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into it, and it shows really well, especially in this specific screenshot with was the Mako,
yeah,
and they added like these nice little, I guess they're headlights or something to it. It looks great.
And they actually said that what they so it's interesting kind of what they've done here because it's a combination of AI upresing, so they're using a lot of those, like taking a texture, running it through AI to get it up to 4K, and then having an artist go back in and manually look at the result, right, and then adjust it as necessary. And one of the things I actually think is really kind of interesting is that they went in and they basically they assigned people by like chunks of the game. So instead of being like, your thing is foliage for all of Mass Effect 1, they'd be like, your thing is Vermeer. Like, go check out what the AI has done, see where you can add stuff in. And then they also apparently coordinated a lot with like the modding community with like what have modders gone in and touched up and changed, like more as a reference point for like where the games need work to make them look better moving forward. All of which I think is absolutely like, that's a great way to do this.
That's a fantastic idea because those people will try to fix shit way faster than you ever will.
Yeah,
and that's a good way of showing like this is where people really wanted this to look better.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of the things, some of the things that they've definitely changed is they said that they've changed like the UI on Mass Effect 1 to make sure that it's basically the same as the Mass Effect 2 and 3 UI, because in the first one it had this very much this little like blue box in the corner, and that had the various like health bars, and then in the second one you started with this thing where it's like in the center there was a box that had like kind of your status, and then to the left and right there were like those were your two teammates, and they were like mapped to the L1 R1 buttons. So they've done a lot of work in doing that. Apparently the Mako has been slightly tweaked, which it's funny. I feel like I see half of the world is like, oh, thank God. And the other half is like, don't change it. The jankiness is what made it super awesome. And it was great. Leave it the way it was.
I like the Mako, but that thing was slow as shit.
The AI apparently has been improved both for squad mates and for enemies. And like, they were talking a little.
Jeff, we can't skip the most important aspect of the entire thing.
What's that?
Elevators are faster.
Yeah. So no, I was going to get to that. Elevators got their own whole article. So the elevators are faster. Apparently, they've gone from loading times of something like 40 seconds to something like 20 seconds. 19 seconds, I think they said, which I think is still a little much, to be honest.
Still a bit much, but I think it's because they have conversations or something in the middle of it.
Well, they actually have said that, like, basically, there'll be a point where there's an indicator that says the elevator, the loading is done. You can skip this whenever you want, but if there's a conversation happening, you can wait the conversation out if you would like.
Okay.
For people who don't know, I don't know. Does anybody listening to this podcast not know? In the original Mass Effect, they used elevators to hide the loading times between various areas, especially on the Citadel. And so you would have these elevator rides that lasted for 40 seconds, where it was just your characters riding on an elevator for 40 seconds. And sometimes they would talk, and sometimes they would just stand there for 40 seconds, and you were like, just put a loading screen, guys. Like, it's fine.
It took so long, guys. I was like, this place is fucking huge. These elevators keep taking this long.
Yeah. Apparently there's a lot of rebalancing that's gotten done, tweaking boss battles, weapon handling, and such to kind of make things clearer across the board. Mass Effect 2 and 3 aim assist has been added into Mass Effect 1. The control scheme has been slightly changed. The mini games are supposed to be now the same between all three games, because Mass Effect 1 had a very different lock-picking minigame than 2 and 3. The character customization for the first one has been moved up to parity with 2 and 3. And actually, they've made it so that the default FemShep is the same across the board, because there was a tweak from Mass Effect 1 to 2 for FemShep. Whole thing's supposed to run 4K, 60 FPS. The character models are supposed to look good, better. There's all kinds of new VFX stuff. They've actually, I really like this particular point. The AI the pre-rendered cinematics have been updated, which I always hate it when they do a remaster and they remaster like the gameplay, but then they still just have the like, we recorded this on the best computer that 2004 had to offer.
Yeah.
Cinematics. It's just like, oh, my eyes, fuck, stop, go to the game.
It's a shame when that happens a lot. I know the Ghostbusters one did that, and it's just like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah. On the PC, it'll support up to 21:9 aspect ratio. I assume that's one of those gigantic curvy monitors like Brian Brushwood has.
Okay.
But yeah, all in all, look good. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that are not going to be here. One is,
I assume it's the well bang okay, right? That's not going to be in there.
The what?
Sorry, it's just there's this thing called I think I showed this to you once, the gamer poops for Mass Effect 3, which is the other reason I probably will never take Mass Effect seriously again. Is because there's the guy said it to where he makes Shepard say "well bang okay," kind of thing.
Oh,
And it became
yes.
such an iconic thing that even like at conventions, the actual voice actor for Shepard will say it if you ask him to.
Yes.
It's amazing. I love it. I love everything about it.
It's not that. Of course, there is actually something that I learned right before we started this that isn't on this news list, but we'll come back to that in just a minute. So the multiplayer is not there. Apparently,
Oh, thank God.
they realized that they said that it was going to take like probably something like 6 extra months of development just to make it work, and they weren't entirely sure whether anybody cared. And then like, do you have the
Really don't.
do you have cross compatibility between the PS5, PS4, PS3 multiplayer servers and blah 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 blah? I'm glad. Fuck that multiplayer. It was fine, but the fact that it was necessary for the Mass Effect 3 ending, boo to that. Boo.
Do they have the phone app still though?
No, I don't. Oh, I don't know. Actually, I don't have any
I hope not.
information about that. The other thing that's not in it was apparently there was a DLC for Mass Effect 1 that was called Pinnacle Station that was an add-on for the 360, and it had a bunch of combat scenarios and shooting gallery type of stuff. I don't really know about this, but apparently the source code for it is corrupted. And like they contacted the third-party studio that did the initial programming on it, and they were like, yeah, our version is corrupted as well. And apparently to recreate it would take a fair amount of time, and they were just like, this is not important. So
Yeah, it was actually like the least popular DLC to the first one.
Yeah.
Like it was such a generic, like shoot a bunch of guys and you might get some somewhat neat rewards, and it had like very little to do with the plot. And they didn't even put it on the original re-release for the PS3 when they came out with all 3 of them, because again they didn't have the code kind of thing, and so they were just like, fuck it, no one even gives a shit about Pinnacle Station, just left it at that, and no one really still cares to this day.
Yeah. So yeah, that's not going to be in the game either. Some more stuff that we have. Apparently, the extended cut ending is going to be the default, and the original canon, quote unquote, canon ending is no longer going to be present.
Hooray! Fuck that ending.
Yeah, I don't really know if that's like a big deal. I guess for like purists or something. I don't know.
It was a point. Like I said, they weren't even really all that interesting of endings. They were just recordings of Buzz Aldrin saying weird shit that like implies how far in the future it is.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And you're just like, but what about like all the stuff I did? They're like, but Buzz Aldrin. It's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah. Apparently another thing, I didn't actually pull this up as a whole news story because I read it right before we started. But apparently one of the things that was asked is that Michael, do you remember in Mass Effect 2 and in Mass Effect 3 how, like, during cutscenes, the camera for Mass Effect seemed really interested in showing you Miranda's ass?
Oh, hell yeah. I remember that. Of course I do.
Do you also remember how Miranda's outfit in Mass Effect basically was a permanent wedgie so that you were looking at, like, a butt crack with a bunch of white hexagons on it?
Again, I had a huge crush on that actress because of Chuck. So there was a lot of things I was staring at back in the day.
Yeah. So apparently they're going to be adjusting some of the camera angles so that the camera isn't so much going directly up Miranda's crack hole during cutscenes. Apparently this is making some people mad because they're like, I want to look at this horny butt crack. I don't give a shit because Miranda, I mean, there's actually a physical person who looks like Miranda. I could look at that person.
Yeah, 100%.
But, you know, this is another thing. I don't know if you're furiously typing about SJWs. I don't care. I don't care.
It's because the clap of her ass cheeks was just too distracting for developers. And so they had to figure that out. They kept failing stealth missions because of it.
Even when I go back and play that game, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, Miranda, that cannot be comfortable. Like, most people are not looking to wear a jumpsuit that is all the way up their crack. Like, goddamn. Now, okay, I can maybe get on board with it if Miranda's wearing that, but that's like the the uniform for who is the
Should also be Garrus.
no who's the
Garrus should
elusive
also wear it.
who's the elusive man's
Man?
organization?
Martin Sheen's?
No, what's it called?
Cerebus.
Everybody in Cerebus has to wear an outfit that is right up their butt crack, including the elusive man.
Including Martin Sheen.
Butt cracks for everyone. Everybody's got butt cracks. Butt crack mod. Actually, you could probably mod that back in if you were super mad or I don't know something. But
just mod it to where Rex's race is the only one that has it. You'll be fine.
No, Rex's race, they wear assless chaps on their suit. It's just they've got like little biotic panels that come down, and then when they're not in battle, the biotics go up, and then it's like the breeze, Shepard. The breeze is great.
We've learned ass butt wrestling since you've left.
That's right. You could mod that in, but apparently one of the other things that was found out was there was a question about like, okay, how are mods going to work? Because apparently the first Mass Effect is relatively simple to mod for, the second Mass Effect is a little bit harder, and the third one is apparently kind of the most difficult. And unfortunately for modders, the response was that this entire game is going to be running essentially on kind of a version of the Mass Effect 3 engine, so it's probably all going to have to be modded the way that you would mod Mass Effect 3. So
good luck, modders.
The harder of the mods, but yes, can still be modded. I don't know. It seems really weird that like they've been so I feels like they've been very accommodating, right, to the community in general, and like a lot of the stuff they're talking about is all been very conscientious. I feel like, I don't know, I guess maybe it's just the way that Mass Effect was programmed. They weren't looking to like, I don't know, redo all of the code to make it easier for the community to put like naked Miranda mods into Mass Effect moving forward. I don't even know. What do the people mod in Mass Effect? Is it the assless chaps for Rex?
Weird shit. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of mods tend to just be replacing the female model with the male model to do weird shit.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. So it seems like it's shaping up. It seems like it's shaping up to be like a good version of Mass Effect. So like, I mean, I'd be excited about it, but like, it's going to be a great way to archive Mass Effect, right? Considering that the current generation, like bringing all those to, because it's going to be PS4, Xbox One, PC and then backwards compatible on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. But I have the feeling that moving forward, because this PS4 and the Xbox One were very PC architecture centric, that like it'll be easy to keep this version moving forward, right? It'll be an archive version that'll probably be compatible with most things moving forward.
I just thought of an extra they should add, which is just that Fox News segment where they were just talking shit about the sex sequence.
Oh yeah, man. You got to throw Mass Effect on the fire. The fucking kids. The children.
Yeah,
somebody think of the children.
The childrens are watching these Miranda ass cheeks in their face.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna
think of them.
They're gonna see two cyber ladies kiss, and they saw some blue boobies. That's the downfall of Western civilization, right there. Little did they know that Twitter was coming.
They were coming, all right.
Yeah. Did you see that thing? I didn't put it in the notes, but like, did you see the thing about the Bloodborne Chalice dungeon that's been discovered?
No.
It's like, it's a chalice dungeon where when you walk in, there's an enemy fighting other enemies in a locked room to one side. So when you walk in, you just get a bunch of experience points because there's one enemy killing off a bunch of other enemies in another room. And apparently the seed for it is like CUUUUM4K2 or something like that. Like, and so people are calling it the cum dungeon. Of course they are.
Oh, that's what that meant. I saw somebody type that somewhere, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yep, that's what that means. That's what that means. So yeah, that's what the cum dungeon is. Speaking of cum dungeons, let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Last week we got the news, speaking of mods, that mod support was added with the 1.11 patch of Cyberpunk 2077. So that people could begin fixing the game themselves or whatever. I mean, maybe they just wanted to add naked Mirandas into the game for all the NPCs. Every NPC is naked Mirandas. But they found out shortly after that that apparently the mods the mod support was creating an external vulnerability in the DLL files for the game that people could end up actually hacking your computer through the mod support of CD Projekt Red. So they
future is now.
Yeah. This is realistic, corporations take all your money and you get hacked all the time. It's really very
and they don't let you make banging Keanu Reeves mods still.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, well, dude, you put it in the game. We were gonna do it. So anyway, they basically told everybody like, don't install any mods, please. Or if you do, be very careful. Now, since then, as of the day we're recording, Friday night, the 1.12 hotfix is out, and it apparently addresses this, saying you don't have to worry about getting your goddamn CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk hacked anymore. So
those crazy bastards.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe they should slow down a little bit and see if they can
slow down on your crazy ass news, guys. Just fucking stop it.
Get this shit done. Get this shit done. Worry less about taking out Keanu Reeves bang mods and more about like getting your shit together. I don't know. That's just me. Well, speaking of banging, everybody's new favorite bang lady. Well, I don't know how this is fucking news, but it's totally news. Last week, Capcom saw that the internet is really into Lady Dimitrescu. They're super into her, and so they put out a tweet that said that wearing her hat and high heels, she is 9'6" tall. This is a fucking news story, and apparently, like, Michael, I don't know. Actually, I mean, I do know it's the internet, right? But how is it that, like, the moment that there was a really big lady in anything, like, once there was a big fictional lady, the internet was immediately like, "Step on me, mommy." Is like that's the result I keep seeing, and I'm like, when did this weird foot infant fetish? Like, I mean, I want to bang the 9-foot tall vampire lady, but like, I'm not into being stepped on. Like, why is
it's been a thing for a while. I think fictional character wise, I think it started with the tall lady from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah, a lot of people brought that up for that. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to know just how tall the Lady Dimitrescu or whatever the fuck her name is, the Hulk is 8 feet tall in the Marvel movies. So she's actually taller than the Incredible fucking Hulk.
Yep, that's true. But basically, it's just like, it's amazing how. Like, I remember the re-release of Resident Evil 7, and people were like, "Whoa, cool, new Resident Evil." I remember Resident Evil 2 they put out, and people were like, "Oh, right, Resident Evil." And they were like, "Here's Resident Evil 3," and people were like, "That wasn't as good as Resident Evil 2." And then people were like, "Resident Evil 8." Everybody's like, "Oh, okay, it's some kind of weird village. It's like a werewolf or something." And then they're like, "Look at this." People are like, "I'm so horny." Like, I haven't seen the internet collectively get as horny as people apparently are for Lady Dimitrescu in a while. Like, it has been a while.
Also, her daughters too. Like, it's the entirety of that entire family of enemies. Like, I've seen a lot of amazing memes of it.
Yeah,
I think one of my favorites, it was like a TikTok video where it's supposed to be one of those like scary videos where like the light turns off and then there's like a monster or something at the end of the hallway. But again, the guy ends up making fuck me eyes at the monster, and the monster gets very confused.
I think I might have seen a variation on that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just amazing that it's just like part of the news stories for this week was like Capcom said that lady's 9 feet tall, and the internet was like, "Ooh."
They're like, do with that information what you will.
Yep. So, good news, everybody. There's a big old lady in video games. She could come step on you.
Those designers knew exactly what they were doing.
Well, I may not get horny for Lady Dimitrescu, but I do get horny for fucking Agent 47. And we got news this week about what's going to be happening with Hitman 3. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this, Michael, because we did get a trailer. So there was a deluxe version of Hitman 3 that was on that was like the $70 or the $90 $80 version, whatever the more expensive version was, right? Normally that would be like, oh, this is the one that's going to have the DLC levels. There aren't DLC levels, or at least not any announced at the moment. But what I am seeing here is they put out their February roadmap for Hitman 3, and they have these deluxe escalations that are like interesting. They're like the normal escalations, but they've got a lot more rewards. So there's one called the Proloff Parable that takes place in like the very last level of the game, which is a train, and there's like this crazy ninja outfit where you're
Is that Storm Shadow?
it's an outfit for Agent 47. You got to kill everybody with like a silent sniper rifle and a katana, but it looks a lot like Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
And then there's one called the Gauchito Antiquity that's all about poisoning people, where you get this weird like yoga man outfit and you're like poisoning a bunch of people. You're like, I think the whole thing is you've got to like kill people while they're throwing up.
Oh, geez.
This is both coming out on February 23rd, and then but you get like all these different like rewards for doing these, which I think some of the escalations had rewards. They seem like a little bit better than your normal rewards. There's also going to be an escalation in the England level called the Baskerville Barney, which is apparently about killing everybody in the entire family. That's the one that's like the Knives Out one. So you've got to kill every single person, and every kill's got to be like an accident, which is pretty fun. And then there's also going to be some featured contracts by like internet content people. So MinMax,
your favorite guy.
Yeah. Dartmoor's going to get some from Kind of Funny, and Dubai is going to get some from MinMax. There's going to be a game update on the 23rd that does bug fixes, which will hopefully allow me to finish the last fucking thing I need to do that's bugged in the game. And then I didn't know this, but apparently February 26th through March 8th, they're bringing back elusive targets. So Sapiens is going to get elusive targets called the Deceivers. I didn't know that there would be elusive targets. I had said actually before that I believe there were not elusive targets. So
yeah, I remember you telling me that at one point.
I didn't know.
I'm glad they're back because people really like those things.
Very true. Also, there's a thing. There's just a thing mentioned called the Initiation Protocol. There's no information on what that is. In the little graphic that IO put out, it's got the same kind of outfit as the Proloff Parable White Shadow outfit, but it's like obviously on the train, and the 47 is holding a gun, but we don't know what that is. I'm really hoping that.
Are we sure it's not just the name of the roadmap?
It's possible. I think it's possible. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Got to team up with Greg Miller and take out people or whatever.
Never gonna do it. Never gonna team up with Greg Miller. Never. They keep inviting that guy to do stuff. I should be doing stuff. I should be the one who does the thing. Man, the Greg Miller. So anyway, bunch of stuff coming for Hitman 3 in February. I'm glad to see that they're putting out new content. I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those situations where it's like 90% of IO or 95% of the development and testers and management at IO is working on the new James Bond game. And they've got like 2 artists, 1 QA guy, and 3 programmers that are just like sitting in the back of the studio cranking out Hitman 3 content for another year, because they put out a lot of content for Hitman 2 and Hitman 1 over time.
Okay.
I mean, just escalations and various different things. Anyway, speaking of Hitman, I got my PSVR to PS4 VR to PS5 VR adapter in the mail today. At some point, we're gonna have to play some Hitman VR. But we actually got a patent this week for PSVR, which is apparently Sony developed this patent, and it's basically for like letting a person play in VR whilst other people sit on a couch and like fuck with that person in their VR game.
Okay.
Which is kind of a cool concept. I kind of wonder whether they might end up doing something with this where they expand it to let people do, like when you have those Twitch integrations where people in a Twitch stream can like vote to do stuff.
It's plausible. I think I saw a gameplay for a game that kind of had something like that, where it was like designed to try to scare whoever had the
headset on. Yeah.
So like they would have the computer, and then like if somebody was watching them, they would just go to the computer. It would ask them to pick something, and then they could pick something, and then it would pop up wherever they were, or something like that.
Okay, I know
think
that
was something I saw.
I know that in the early days of in the first PSVR play. Oh God, what was it? One of their demo things. It was where the little bots from Astrobot Rescue Mission first showed up. There were a bunch of games where like one of them was the person with the VR headset is like a kaiju, and the people, and then it's like up to 4 of the people can be like little people on the ground shooting at you with tiny guns, and then you see them. And one of them was the person with the VR headset was like a cat, and then the other people were mice, and they were trying to like outsmart the cat. So
that's kind of neat.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool to kind of expand this stuff to some other stuff. Speaking of Sony, we had some information that came out from their earnings report for Q3 2020, where they basically talked about having sold 4.5 million PS5 units by the end of December. And they also talked a lot about how they would really like to increase production of PS5s, but apparently there's just a general semiconductor shortage that is affecting. This is why everything is, not just PlayStation, not just Xbox, but also like the NVIDIA, like the new GeForce cards, like everything can't be built fast enough. Is that apparently between scalpers, people staying at home, and this semiconductor shortage, it's like there's this huge crunch right now where like I mostly just wanted to put this in here to be like, for anybody who thinks that Sony is like, who's like, why don't they just make more? And it's like, I'm sure they would absolutely love to make more, like, because every minute that you can't give Sony $500 for a PlayStation is like money that Sony doesn't get, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is like everyone wants these things so bad that it would be insane not to want to try to ramp up, production.
Yeah. And apparently they're also selling them at a loss right now, but that's nothing new. Yeah. Every console, I feel like most consoles get sold at a loss early on and then eventually become profitable once they've got hardware revision down. But a lot of it is just they want it out there so that the install base is high enough that they can make money on software.
Yeah.
God damn it. This article that I'm looking at has an ad for that dumb werewolf game that came out this week. And Chris and I just got done recording the dojo for it. And the ad is making it look way cooler than it actually is.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Yeah. Okay, so apparently I didn't update this well enough. So anyway, speaking of crazy sales, so in Japan, there is a store in Tokyo that is called Yodobashi Camera that is trying to keep people from trying to keep scalpers from getting PS5 games. And one of the ways that they're doing this is they apparently are selling them physically. They're first come, first serve. But then apparently they also have a credit card where you can only buy the console if you have the credit card from the store. So you have to have the store credit card in order to actually purchase the units, which is kind of crazy. But apparently somewhat necessary because, what was this like a little ways back? This was like this week, or it was like last week. There was a thing where 2 of these retailers had PlayStation 5s on sale, and they were first come, first serve. Why will this window not open? Okay, and they just kind of opened the doors to first come, first serve, and what resulted was just madness, Michael.
Oh my God!
Like there were people right now. Japan is having some like COVID resurgences. There was like a sea of people packed shoulder to shoulder, just like going completely and totally insane, trying to get these PlayStation 5s. It's, in fact, when this happened, they literally just like called the police and shut down the store. because there were
That's crazy shit.
so many fucking people in there. This is wild. Like the number of people and the thirst with which people are trying to get PlayStations these days, to me, is just absolutely nuts. Like it
makes me
crazy.
that much more like that blessed feeling that I even got one.
I think it's insane that you and I got one. Like I look at this and I'm like, holy shit, how did I ever get a PlayStation? That was nuts.
Yeah, people are like fighting to the death over these things, and we got them because we were just fucking around.
Yeah.
On Twitter.
Yeah.
And there it was.
Yeah, like this. Oh my god, the number of people that are in this crowd is just absolutely psychotic. So yeah, I don't know. I hope it all. I wish people could get PlayStations. Like I said, I'm sure that Sony wishes that people could buy their product as well. Like,
absolutely. It's difficult because a lot of money is made through those software sales, and they're not able. They're like, it's great they're selling all these consoles, but if not everybody has them, they're probably not all buying them. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's see. We also got a new firmware update for the PlayStation 5. This one is basically very focused on is trying to resolve issues where people are installing the PS4 version of the game by accident. Because apparently there have been some cases, I have not personally seen this happen, Michael, but apparently there have been cases where people have tried to upgrade from the PS4 version to the PS5, and what has been downloaded is still the PS4 version.
That kind of happened to me not that long ago.
Yeah.
Because I have Mortal Kombat 11, and you can upgrade from Mortal Kombat 11 PS4 to the PS5 one. And so I had the issue originally where you couldn't update.
Yeah.
Couldn't update it. Like where it would say that it was going to download, but nothing happened. So I deleted it to try to re-download the whole thing. And then I re-downloaded it, not realizing I re-downloaded the PS4 version.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so just like, God damn it. And it's the same with some other games that'll pop up. Like it'll be like, hey, you want to download the PS4 version of this? It's like, no, stop it. It's like I have the PS5 version of this thing. You fucking quit it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I think I tried to download the PS4 version of Miles Morales, if I remember correctly. When I first bought the Miles Morales disc. And the same with, I want to say, no, it wasn't Devil May Cry 5, but like it'll pop up that way. Whereas if it thinks that, if it has that ability, it keeps trying to get that one at the same time, which doubles the amount of space it takes on it, which is just a pain in the ass for something that's not that big to begin with.
Yeah, that's absolutely a pain in the ass. So I don't know. Hopefully this is going to solve some of that, but we'll see. Let's see. Speaking of the PlayStation 5, we also got a surprise. This is kind of out of nowhere, like a patch for God of War. That puts it at, so it used to be that God of War, because it was a PlayStation 4 game, was running the whole like performance or resolution. So you could have, since you were running the PS4 version of the game, you could either have it in performance mode, or you could have it in resolution mode. So you could either have it in 4K or you could have it 60 frames per second. Well, now why not both? Have both, why don't you?
It's a great time to be, a PlayStation owner.
Yeah. So now you get both 4K checkerboard as well as 60 frames per second. It's a free update. I foolishly downloaded God of War. I don't know what I thought I was going to do with that, but
I debated it. I'm not gonna lie. I debated doing it, but I was like, no, I can't just keep replaying
God of War over and over and over again. That's true. You shouldn't,
because we it's a whole Patreon playthrough.
Yeah, and then you went back
and then I played it after that.
Yeah, then you went back and played it all yourself, all on your lonesome, and now you're gonna go back and play it again.
Play it a third time. I'm gonna give it some time this time in between, like before the new one comes out. I'll do it.
Yeah, that sounds good. I tell you what, that's pretty exciting. But another thing that I feel like might be even more exciting. I don't know if you saw this, Michael, but do you know what else is coming to the PlayStation 5, as well as the Xbox One, as well as the PC?
Oh,
Judgment. It is time for Judgment. And
for people who don't know, it's amazing. From according to Jeff,
I love it. So, it
I
should
haven't played it still. So
it should be noted that this is Judgment, the game from the Ryugo What's Its Face Studios that makes Yakuza. This was a spin-off game that was in the Yakuza universe, but you play as a lawyer turned private investigator. And just like with Yakuza, it starts out as just like, you got to figure out what happened with this murder. And then by the end, you're like, I'm going to save Tokyo. And in between, you're going to pet some cats and eat some ramen and fucking fly in some drone races. If you've ever wanted to get into Yakuza, but you didn't want to like have to play 600 goddamn Yakuza games, this is an actual factual great place to start because it is it's in the Yakuza universe. Like, it's on the same map. It's got a lot of the same kind of overall tone. It's got a lot of like the fighting mechanics. But you don't have to know anything about Kiryu Kazama. They're not going to be like, you're not going to see Goro Majima and be like, why is the game making such a big deal out of this weird guy with the snake skin jacket? And everybody else is like, it's Goro Majima. And you're like, who? And I'm just like, yeah, right. But no, this is a great game. It's about 20, 30 hours long. I think I put it kind of far down, but still not at the bottom of my favorite games from last year because it was just incredibly enjoyable. I think that the Ryu no whatever studio at Sega, I think they do absolutely great work. Like, I love their games so much.
I'm really glad with those guys. They've made some amazing stuff. They made a fantastic Fist of the North Star game, and they've just they're just so good. And yeah, from everything I've heard, that Judgment is really good.
Did you ever get into any of the actual Yakuza games?
I did back in the PS2 days because my roommate at the time had bought, I want to say it was either Yakuza 1 or 2 for the PS2, and he was really giddy and showed it to me, and I was like, this is really good, and I played it for a little bit, and at the same time, I think, ironically, is when we bought Mass Effect 1, so that ended up overtaking it, only because, I hadn't played Yakuza 1 kind of thing. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, it was Yakuza 2, and so But I really liked what I saw, and I really wanted to play more of it, but I just never did.
But you haven't gone back in the modern era with Kiwami or Kiwami 2 or Like a Dragon or Judgment or anything?
I've debated it since some of that stuff was on the free for Plus, if I remember correctly, at some point. As well as some of it being on...
I think most of it's on Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's on Game Pass. But I always remember that they're huge time suckers. And so part of it's just like I need to find time to like... Because even the Fist of the North Star game, which is one of the shorter ones they have, is really long.
Yeah.
Like, took me a while, so I was just like, oh, this is going to take me forever if I do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I don't know. You know what? I kind of hope that someday, like, you know what I would really like for you, Michael, is I would really like for you to try out Yakuza Like a Dragon. I think you would really enjoy Yakuza Like a Dragon. Because
I really want to try it still.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that you might when the PS5 version comes out?
Probably. Yeah, because I don't have that many other PS5 games at the moment. Because I finished most of the ones that I have. I haven't... Like, I'm probably going to replay Devil May Cry 5 later on since I bought that for it. Same with... I may try the PS5 version of Maneater. That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever play Maneater?
No, I remember watching you guys play it, and it made me really interested in it. And I thought about buying it for a while, but then they announced, hey, it's coming free to Plus. It's like, okay, good thing I waited kind of thing. Same with Control, but I've already beaten Control. That I'm also considering replaying that. But basically every PS5 game I have at the moment, except for Maneater, are ones that I've already played. Like at some point on the PS4.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. This is looking pretty good though. The one weird thing about it is that like in the announcement for it, it says that it's coming to like PS4, Xbox One, PS5, or no, it's coming to PS5, Series X, and Google Stadia. Like,
okay,
I don't know from this article whether there's going to be just a straight up PC version that is not a Stadia version. but who knows? It's hard to say at the moment. There is actually, though, a kind of an interesting video that came out that was kind of side-by-side comparison of original Judgment and then the remaster based on the trailer, just kind of giving some general... oh, my computer. And basically, it looks like a lot of the lighting has been smoothed out, like especially in the original on the PS4. The main character's hair is very... like a lot of the light is very harsh, like it's very sharp light, and it feels like all of the light and the shadows have been kind of smoothed out a little bit, which I think makes it look it actually makes it less stylized than it was in the PS4. But I think that really hard-edged light source in Japanese games can sometimes be a little jarring. And it just kind of smooths everything out a little bit and makes it...
Well, it makes it a lot grittier looking from what I'm looking at, too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Hey, man, I think everybody should play Judgment. So, if you haven't played Judgment and you want to play Judgment, I think this is a great opportunity to play Judgment. I am not going to play Judgment a second time.
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
Boom, they feel the power of attorney.
I would be more apt to go back and play Yakuza 5. I've never played Yakuza 5, and it's actually been a long time since I played... I think I played 4, but I don't know if I ever played 3. And I know that those are going to be a little rough because they're just like up-reses, but I never played 5. Like, I remember 5 came out around Christmas, like many years ago, because I remember John and Amanda and I did a dojo. We did a replacement for a Sunday stream. We just played like an hour or some odd of Yakuza 5. And I never went back to it because I hadn't really like gotten all up into Yakuza's business at that point. So, I don't know. Anyway, it is 1 hour. I'm sorry. I really did try to reduce a little bit, but we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Somebody put in the Discord last week, they were like, me waiting for Jeff to answer questions on the podcast. It's just a picture of a skeleton. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We'll be back. I'm sorry. More news, I don't know. There's maybe enough news here we might be able to run through it. I don't want to be I don't want to be a lying Lenny and say we're going to get to questions, but it's possible.
We'll get to a question.
It's possible.
Possibly.
It's possible. Yeah, we'll do one question.
Minimum, I'll promise that.
One question at a time. So, before we left, we got the news that Judgment was getting kind of remastered, put out. We also got a report here saying that Activision Blizzard is going to be working on some more remasters to put out moving forward. So we got the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remaster last year. We also have news that same team is working on like a Diablo 2 remaster that's coming out, but we're probably going to be getting more. I think this just goes, Michael, to solidify my... Is this what it's going to be like? Is that every time we move into a new generation, the first thing we feel the need to do is remake every video game from the last generation and put them out?
Well, this is a slightly different because it's not the last generation. A lot of these were like PS1 generations.
Yeah, that's true.
They've done so far. Like, that's why I'm okay with some of these, because a lot of them aren't like... It's not like Shadows of the Colossus where they've remastered it like 4 times kind of thing. And so it's like, it's not a bad thing.
I don't know. I thought the Shadow of the Colossus, the Blue Point Shadow of the Colossus, was like a great remake, right? As opposed to
but the thing was that they remastered it to PS3 and then to PS3 to PS4.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Like it's not like that kind of thing. It's like these were all games that were all blocky as fuck, kind of thing. And I'm cool with that. As long as it's only that stuff. If it's like you said, just stuff from the last generation, then yeah, that's pretty pointless.
What PS2 Activision games would you like to see remastered moving forward?
It's a tough one.
True
I would
crime.
love to see the true crime games. Yeah, the true crime games would be fucking great. I loved the first True Crimes. That game was amazing.
What about Tony Hawk Underground? We got Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Can we get Tony Hawk Underground before we get 3 and 4?
I'd be cool with that, to be honest.
You know,
or Gun.
Gun.
The 360.
Do you know what? I want to see Guitar Hero make a comeback. I want to see a remaster of the original Guitar Hero with a new controller. No, a reissue, a Bluetooth version of that little Fisher-Price makes you look like a giant. Makes me like a giant man controller. Oh my God, there were so many Tony Hawk games from this time period.
They made a shit ton of Tony Hawk games. That's one of the reasons why they started going downhill, because they kept fucking releasing different ones.
What about that horrible Star Wars Episode 3, the movie video game that they...
That game was a lot more fun than it had any right to be. It's not a good game per se, but it's still a lot of fun. Like the versus mode on it, I played for hours with friends.
Okay, if you could pick one Star Wars game to get a full revamp and remaster that was not Knights of the Old Republic, what would you choose?
Rogue Squadron.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
I would love for the Rogue Squadron to get remade.
Man, what if they put out like an anthology that was all 3 Rogue Squadrons remastered?
I'd play the shit out of that. I'd buy that right now if I could.
I'm gonna open up a new GameStonk futures trading on like future games that don't exist yet, and if we can get enough money rolling, then we can force companies to make the games that we feel like should get remastered instead of just taking their dumb crumbs, just stupid crummy crumbs.
Exactly.
Yeah. By the way, there's not really a lot of news about that this week because it's kind of like they took the market back, and I don't know if there's something new happening. A lot of that was interesting when it was like a GameStop thing, but now it's moved into like a, I don't know.
Went into AMC
apps.
and like silver apparently.
Right, more of a like.
So it's like what?
More of a like. Will the internet be allowed to play on the stock market? Manipulation, shutting down stuff. Less gaming related, more just like general tech related. So
yeah.
We also got some more Activision news. A lot of Blizzard Activision had like a Q4 earnings thing, and in part of that reveal was basically that neither Diablo 4 nor Overwatch 2 will be out in the year 2021, which isn't, okay. I don't know, that's not like the biggest news. I guess the thing is that it's a little disappointing that they announced Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 to basically like try to make people like be like, hey, look over here, no, Hong Kong, don't look at Hong Kong, look over here, look at it.
Ignore all the shit we did prior to this.
Yeah. And now it's like, well, they're not going to be out for a million years. It's like, well, then why did you fucking announce them?
They absolutely were them like just trying to keep them from murdering them.
Yeah. So I don't know. In other kind of bad news, this is a strange one. So, all right, Google Stadia, when they launched, they hired a bunch of people on to make original titles for Google Stadia. Now, as far as I know, I think there were only 2 games to date that actually, I know Gylt, GYLT. Did you and I play that for Patreon?
Was that one of them? Yeah, we did. Yeah.
That was a Stadia exclusive that came out kind of after launch. I think there might have been like one more. But apparently Google is shutting down their internal Stadia game development studio moving forward. The big name here is that apparently they hired Jade Raymond on to work in that studio, and she's leaving. Yeah, so apparently I think that like, if I had to guess, Michael, I think that like that Cyberpunk might have brought in enough money and cachet to Stadia to have it be more profitable for them to do stuff like if that Judgment remake is going to be a timed Stadia exclusive, that might be a better place for them to spend money from their perspective. I think they should just make original games because like that Guilt game was great. I loved that Guilt game.
Oh, I liked it a lot. But I'm not surprised though that this happened at all, to be honest, because Google's really bad about shit like that. They'll start off something and then just be like, I'm bored with this now, and then just move on.
Yep.
Like that's why Google Glass isn't really a thing. Google Express was like this delivery thing that no one talks about. I don't even know if it's still a thing anymore. It's a miracle that Project Fi, which I think is just, I don't even know what it's called now. I think it's just Google Phone or something. It's a miracle that thing is still around.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because a lot of the stuff they make, they just get bored with, and then that's the end of it.
Their whole social media network, whatever the fuck that was called.
Google Plus.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
Man, you know what? I got to tell you, Michael, if you, nobody should do this, but if anybody ever logs into my Rage Select account and you go to YouTube, it's like, which Rage Select do you want? There are 4 of them. One of them has 3,000 videos. One of them, 2 of them have 0 videos, and one has 1 video because I accidentally uploaded it to the wrong thing because Google Plus kept being like, well, I mean, you're going to need a separate account for Google Plus, so we made one for you. Do you want to use it? And I'm like, no, just use the one account that I made. Like, to this day, my Google account is fucked up.
It forced Google Plus on like everyone. I remember like you couldn't use. I don't remember what it was, but there was a lot of things you couldn't use unless you had Google Plus. Like they desperately wanted to make that thing to be a thing.
Yeah,
and it ended a year or 2 ago. It wasn't even that long ago.
I don't know. I just stopped using it for so long. I had to look up online. You know when if you have like multiple Google accounts and you like click on the little link and it shows you all the different accounts that you have.
Yeah.
Today I had to look up like how the fuck do I get rid of like 3 of them that I don't ever use anymore? And it was like, well, you got to log out of all of your accounts, and then when it goes to log back in, there's a button that says remove accounts, and then there you can. And it's just like, oh my god, Google, how are you so fucking bad at this?
That's a pain in the ass.
But you know what? Okay, here's the thing. I think I already know the answer to this. Actually, I know the answer to this. But let me ask you, Michael, do you think that if Google shifts their Stadia focus from trying to make original stuff to getting certain games as a timed exclusive on Stadia, that is going to let's ask 2 questions. 1, will it make them more money? And 2, is there any way that gamers aren't going to be titanically pissed off when it turns out that, like, for example, I don't even know if this is true, but for example, if Judgment is like a 9-month exclusivity deal where you can only play it on Google Stadia on the PC, like, I mean, we've already seen that happen with Epic, and people get just unbelievably mad at that. So I can't imagine it's going to make them any friends in the PC gaming community, especially because
it won't.
You won't be able to mod a game that's running on somebody else's servers or.
Well, yeah, that's the thing of that I was thinking is that because at least with Epic you can still install the game onto your PC. So if you need to do anything like even hackable, like you can still do it, but with Stadia you can't. It will work better for them money wise in the long run if people are still willing to get Stadia because of it, because it's also less work for them.
Yeah,
and so that could go a really long way if they can get that to work. Second wise, no, everyone's going to be pissed about it if they do that.
Yeah,
100%. Like they will, but it might die down the same way. Who knows? It all depends on how much money they're willing to throw at that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the things, whether you like Epic exclusivity or not, and I feel like most people are either neutral or don't like it. I don't know anybody who's like, hooray, I love Epic. I hope all games become exclusive forever to that platform. Epic at least is like, they're really throwing that Fortnite money around in ways that I feel like there are like game companies and projects and studios that are getting a really big cash injection from Epic for that exclusivity in a way that makes them able to maybe be more independent, which I like, but I definitely understand. I don't know. It's never really bothered me as much, the whole Epic exclusivity thing, but I get why people are mad. I just am not that mad myself, and it may be because
I get it, but yeah, I'm not a PC gamer, so I don't really have a dog in the fight at all, but I do get it.
I hate Steam. Steam is so terrible. Fucking loathe Steam. It's like the worst apps I've ever seen in my life. It's so hard. You got to scroll. What goddamn app? Okay, I'm not going there.
Yeah, we're gonna. You got to keep going.
We got to keep going. In other streaming news and other video game news and other ill-fitting company news, we basically had a report that apparently, Amazon has the Amazon Game Studios, and apparently there is a Bloomberg report, because when a company is shitty, somebody will go to Jason Schreier and tell him about it, that says that Amazon has apparently spent something like $500 million for like 0 games, and it's just a laundry list of fucking terrible things. So apparently, like, this is you got to have a Bloomberg subscription to read the whole article, so I'm just reading some highlights out of Kotaku. Apparently, there was a game that they're making called New World, where you play as a colonist in 17th century America, and there's enemy designs that have a lot of similarity to Native Americans. They brought on a tribal consultant who was like, yeah, this shit's fucking fucked up. It's bad. There's apparently, developers are being forced to use a proprietary internal development tool called Lumberyard, which is like horrible to use. Apparently, this is like Frostbite all over again. Apparently, they brought in a new person, Christoph Hartmann, a veteran, to be vice president, who said that they eased up on you have to use this bullshit tool. Apparently, it's another place where you got a bunch of bro dudes who are just like, yeah, fucking A, bro. Apparently one of the biggest things is the guy that runs the place doesn't know anything about making video games. Like, he can't tell the difference between development prototypes and like a final video game. And
Jesus.
Apparently there was
explains so much.
There was this one thing in the Bloomberg article where a woman at Bloomberg said that following a disagreement with a male member of senior leadership, the leadership guy made up a bunch of new positions over her and then hired a bunch of dudes to be in those positions.
Jesus Christ.
They hired a bunch of different people that worked on series like Portal and Far Cry, and then most of them are gone at this point. Yeah, Mike Frazzini, who is apparently like the head of the entire games division, has never made a video game before. He's like doing that thing where he's like, I don't understand why you can't just question mark. Apparently one of the other problems is that they're basically just making copies of other games, or just like,
oh god,
like, oh well, League of Legends is popular, why don't we make a MOBA? And everybody's like, MOBAs are dead. Like, there's 3 and everybody plays those. We don't need to make any MOBAs. Or they have their Overwatch clone that was that Crucible game.
Oh, that fucking thing
that we tried to play and then stopped playing, that came out and then got unreleased and like delisted off of Steam.
So bad.
Also, apparently the Amazon Luna, which I don't know if you know this, Michael, but I actually bought the controller and I have a subscription to Amazon Luna, their game streaming service, right?
Wait, did it finally make it to you?
Oh, yeah. I got all that shit.
Okay.
Apparently, Amazon Luna is being run by somebody completely separate from their game division. The guy that runs the Kindle and Echo division runs the Luna division. So it's not even like Amazon exclusives being hooked up. It just seems like a fucking mess. Like one of those like Disney game studios, like somebody who just has no fucking idea what they're doing, and then they're like, I don't know, let's try to make video games. How hard could it be? And it's like, very hard. And he's like, nah, we're Amazon. We know how to make stuff. We just buy it from a cheap Chinese company and then that's what they should do. They should just buy games off of like cheap Chinese companies, file the serial numbers off, and put Amazon Game Studios in the front of it and fucking sell it.
Like, this is just PUBG modded.
Yeah, or like, when you buy something off of Amazon and it's like a chair, and then what you get is just like a tiny Barbie chair. They should do that with video games, where it's like they put out a trailer for a game and it looks really awesome, and it turns out there's only one level and all the footage was from the first level, and then when you get to the end, it's just over, and it's like, yeah, well, we said it was a video game. We never said how long it was. You can return it if you want, but it's really complicated, and
maybe episode 2 might come out later. Who knows? And then just never happens.
It's strange to me in the year of our Satan 2021. How the fuck does this keep happening? Like, how do companies keep doing horse shit like this, where it's like, okay, Michael, if I had the capital to create a video game, if I suddenly got a lot of money and I wanted to create a video game, what I would do is I would create a company and I would go find somebody that was like a director at a video game company and hire them and be like, here's what I want to make. And they would be like, well, We could probably do it. Let's bring in some people to look at it. Like, I would hire people that knew what they were doing and then listen to them. I don't understand this thing. This is just, we're going a little wide here, like in America, where it's like, well, you know, like, I'm a fucking CEO. I can do whatever. I don't need anybody to tell me how to make a thing. I'll make my own movie with blackjack and hookers. Then it's like, oh, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible because you just thought you could money your way through this and you didn't bother with like the whole hire somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing and then let them do the thing that they do instead of trying to control it with your hands. I don't know.
Yeah, Mike Frazzini is clearly like somebody's friend who was just like, "Want to make games, bro?" And then they shook hands, chugged Four Locos, passed out, and then woke up the next day and he's like, "Oh, I got to make video games now."
Yeah, it reminds me of, you remember when Disney used to do that thing where they'd be like, we want to get into games, and they'd buy a game company, and they'd be like, okay, make this specific game. And they'd be like, are you sure? And they'd be like, yes, make it. And then they would make it, and they'd be like, here's Blur. And they'd put it out, and it was like, oh, it didn't sell like Call of Duty. We're dissolving the studio, and everybody's fired. It was like, what? What did you do? What?
They don't, like, so many companies keep doing that. It's like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Go watch the What Happened that came out last week for like Skylanders / Disney Infinity / Lego.
All the what are they called?
Toys to games or
toys,
whatever.
Toys to games, yeah.
Yeah.
Those things.
And how
they're fucking everywhere for years.
Yeah. How so many of those just, I don't know. Like, they're Amazon, for fuck's sake. Like, they've got, Jeff Bezos makes like $2,000 a minute. Right? Like,
yeah.
Just you know what? Jeff Bezos, just buy a studio. Buy Deep Silver. How much money could it take to buy Deep Silver? You make $2,000 a second. I saw an article that said Jeff Bezos doesn't even know what to do with all of his money anymore. It's like,
that sounds right, yeah.
Don't do this. Don't hire your fucking college frat bro to run your game company. Who makes a MOBA? It's 2021. Who's like, you know what the next big thing is going to be? Another MOBA. Like, that would be like if you were like, you know what we're going to do? We are going to make a brand new monthly pay MMO. Now is the time to cash in on the MMO.
The perfect
craze.
time to do it. Yeah, exactly.
God damn.
It's going to be even better.
Yeah. So, in other money news, apparently, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about game stonks, but I'm going to talk about it briefly because apparently they're going to make a movie, or there's been an option. Okay, there's a report by Deadline that apparently MGM has acquired the rights to a book proposal for a book that has yet to be written called The Antisocial Network about the GameStop stock explosion, and they want to option it for a movie. And Michael, I want them to do it. I want them to make it. I want them to make like what was that Vin Diesel, like Boiler Room, or like, I want it to be like Boiler Room meets Margin Call. I want it to be like two stories, an A plot and a B plot. And the A plot is like high stakes, which is us versus the man. And the B plot is a really boring cerebral movie about a bunch of people in boardrooms telling Jeremy Irons that you can't turn off the internet. And then, then it goes over to Vin Diesel and he's drifting his way through the stock market with Reddit. Starring Vin Diesel and Jeremy Irons. Margin Furious Call. The Fast and the Margin Call. I watched Margin Call not that long ago, if you can't tell.
Have you heard what's going on with Wall Street Bets right now?
No.
Their mods are having a civil war right now.
Okay.
Because of this, like the whole planning of movies and shit. Like the mods are like kicking, like older mods that weren't really around for a bit were coming back and trying to kick out the newer mods because now that these movie deals and stuff might be popping up, people want money. And so it's just this whole fucking like fight over the control of that section.
You guys, you could have changed the world, but now you're fighting over movie rights. Or I mean, it's fine. Last time I heard they were on to silver. I don't know if that all just went away.
I don't even know. I don't know what they're up to anymore.
I don't know what
that's the last I heard about what's going on with those guys.
What the fuck is going on? I saw a guy on YouTube saying that Elon Musk just tweeted Doge, and then Dogecoin went up for like 4 hours, like tripled in value for 4 hours. It was like,
that sounds about right.
It was like from 20 cents to 60 cents or something like that, and then like went back down by the end of the day. And it's like, what planet do we live in?
I don't know. It's the meme world now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of huge amounts of money, Nintendo just released their financials for the 9-month period ending on December 31st, and fuck, dude. Net sales were up 37.3%. Operating profit increased by 98.2%, reaching nearly $5 billion. Nintendo sold 24.1 million hardware units, which is a 35% increase year on year. 16.77 million Switches, 7.33 million Switch Lights, and 176 million units of software during the last year, 43% more than the year before. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Digital sales were up 104.9%.
Oh my God. Yeah, I saw like a graph or something somewhere on Twitter where it showed that like sales for Nintendo Switch stuff had like completely outpaced the entirety of Sony.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was a circle graph, because like it was like 1% was PS4 and then the other 99% was just the Switch.
Oh, a pie chart? Yeah.
It was just fucking crazy.
Yeah. So yeah. Remember how Nintendo has a shitload of money. Never let Nintendo pretend to be like the underdog. They're kind of the giant empire, right? They
tricked us for so long with Shigeru Miyamoto being like fucking gardening and shit.
Yeah.
And
Reggie. Yeah, Reggie.
So goddamn wholesome.
Yeah.
Just being like, my body's ready, and you're like, yeah, it is, Reggie. And then, but now we have literally it's controlled by a guy named Bowser.
Yeah. It's like if the Death Star had Mario's face painted on it, everybody would have been like, it seems fine. And then when the laser shoots, it goes, wahoo! And everybody's like, I know, I get that meme. And then Alderaan explodes, and you're like, wait, what happened? Fuck it, Mario, he's great. Mario's so cool. Yeah. Now there was another story that came out kind of during this, where they basically said that they're don't plan on an announcement for hardware. No new Switch hardware coming anytime soon. Don't you worry about it. And I think this is a lie. I honestly think this is a lie. Like just a straight up lie. Yeah, apparently there's like an industry analyst named David Gibson who was talking about this, who said that like they appear to be destocking the Switch inventory, just like selling as many Switches as they currently have. And apparently a little while back, there was also a Bloomberg report where Nintendo was asking some devs to make their games 4K ready, which like, listen, I'm not saying, I think that this is just a lie in the way that like companies don't like to confirm like a hardware refresh before it happens, right? Because people will stop buying the existing hardware. But
they're probably still in staging like time of development right now too. They probably don't even know what it would look like at this point.
I think it's very close to ready to go, to be honest. But I don't know. I mean, it would be insane if Nintendo didn't put out some kind of 4K Switch, right? Before the Switch is over, there should be a 4K version of the Switch. At some point.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that at all. I just don't know the time frame at all.
Yeah. Maybe they were planning on getting one out this year, but then they got slowed down from the aforementioned hardware shortages, right?
Semiconductor shortages. Semiconductor issue. Because you remember when they had that whole battle with Apple over like some chips or something, if I remember correctly, when it first was being made?
Yeah, Cool Ranch. It was messy. No, I don't actually remember that.
Yeah, because you remember when the Switch first came out, the Switch shortage was caused because Apple and Nintendo were using the same chip for their, I think it was for the phones or the iPad or something, as well as for the Switch, and it was causing it like this battle over over the chips, so there weren't enough to go around, which caused the shortage for as long as it did when it first came out.
I don't know.
If I remember correctly, that's what caused it.
In other news, another Nintendo news, this is a little bit of, I don't know, people might think this is a bummer. Maybe it's a bummer, maybe it's not. But apparently there's been a change to the website, to the Astral Chain website last week, in that Platinum Games no longer really has any control over the IP, and they've now lists that the IP solely belongs to Nintendo. There was actually a statement. It used to be that it was supposed to be like co-owned, but at this point, one of the studio heads in Platinum at Sushi Inaba said, "It's as it's written on the website. Astral Chain is their IP, and as such, there are limitations on how much we feel we should talk about." So it seems that this is kind of one of those. Is Beautiful Joe the same way? Is that like Nintendo?
It's owned by Capcom.
Oh, Capcom owned. Okay. So yeah. I think that's great, or I don't really have a whole lot of things to say about this outside of where the fuck is Bayonetta? Come on.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like Astral Chain is controlled by Nintendo. I'm like, I don't know anybody who actually cares that much about Astral Chain enough to be shocked by something like that.
I tried real hard to care about Astral Chain, and I don't care about Astral Chain.
Like I love Platinum, but I haven't heard anyone talk about Astral Chain outside of when it first came out.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I heard decent things about it.
In other Nintendo news, this is a really fucking weird story. Oh, you remember, Michael, do you remember when we had that story about how somebody like made porno DVDs of the Dead or Alive characters and they got arrested, and we were both like, who would buy a DVD? And also, who would buy porno on a DVD? And also, who would buy Dead or Alive porno on a DVD? Well, apparently, Japanese authorities have arrested a 23-year-old man who made about $10,000 by hacking the save data for Pokemon Sword and Shield and selling altered copies of it to people. I don't understand.
No, that one makes more sense to me, but
Yeah.
it's still dumb because it's one of those things where people like to have the Pokemon that they want without any effort, and those people usually have a lot of money, and so that one makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's still dumb as hell because Nintendo, being the crazy empire they are, will find you and hunt you down as hard as they can. Like, he's lucky the cops got to him first. That's really what I'm saying.
It's just, I've never really been able to understand stuff like this where I'm like, if somebody was like, hey, kid, I'll sell you a version of Pokemon Sword that's already got all the Pokemon unlocked. And it's like, that's the whole point of playing Pokemon. Like, why would you want a Pokemon game where the Pokemon are already unlocked? The whole point is unlocking Pokemon.
I love your scenario because it makes it sound more like he's outside of schools.
Yeah.
Like the Resident Evil 4 guy is pulling his coat up.
Yeah.
What are you buying?
Yeah, he opens his coat and it's got a bunch of different copies of Pokemon and Switches and stuff in it.
It's like, this one's got a shiny Squirtle. You know you want it.
Then he opens up the other side and it's got porno Dead or Alive DVDs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knows his audience.
Oh, we should go to Japan and dress up like that Resident Evil guy and ask people if they want to buy stuff. And they'll just go around us and, you know. Speaking of getting busted for shit, Valve got busted for some shit. Valve had to pay $4 million fine over the Steam controller, a patent infringement, a copyright infringement on the patent for. Okay, so Corsair's Scuff Gaming basically has a patent on the back paddles on a controller. Like what's on the Xbox Elite controller. And apparently when Steam was making their controller, they put a bunch of back paddles on their controller. And the jury found in this case that Steam totally knew what they were doing, totally ripped off another person's design, and totally just, what's the quote here? Valve did know that its conduct involved an unreasonable risk of infringement, but it simply proceeded to infringe anyway. The classic David and Goliath story. Goliath does what Goliath wants. And apparently they were fined $4 million for doing this. So
that sounds like Valve, yeah.
Yep.
Valve doesn't give a fuck.
Yep. Remember that story? What was it, like 2 weeks ago? Where there was that European that the court in Europe was like, hey, you can't like geo restrict people in the EU from buying stuff from other countries. And Valve was like, we're gonna. And they were like, we're gonna fine you. And Valve's like, how much do you want? I got my checkbook out. What is it? It was like $1 million, like $1.9 million or something.
It was quite a bit. Like, and they were just like, they just threw it at him.
Yeah. Just fucking, just threw in their face.
They're like, pathetic. Here, that's all you want? Fucking here.
Yeah.
I wipe my ass with this money, Gabe said as he threw them at them.
Oh, Valve. But you know what? In better Steam news, the Steam Game Festival February edition is on. So, as with previous Steam Game Festivals, this means a whole bunch of kind of timed exclusive demos that you can play from now until February 9th. Giving the day that this is coming out, that means you've got 2 days to play these games.
Jesus.
It's funny because I actually don't know a lot of these games. I was looking over the list, and outside of Windjammers 2 and Galgun Returns,
yeah.
And I don't know very many of these. Like
some of them sound familiar.
Yeah.
Like Undying, it sounds familiar. So does Unbound, but I can't remember them without like looking at them.
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many of these. A lot of times these indie game studios, they'll have. There's so many goddamn video games. Let's see. What is Undying? Is some kind of. Oh my God! Stop it, Steam! Stop doing stuff. It's like some kind of like no-face zombie game. I've never heard of this before. I've never seen this before in my life.
I saw a trailer for it at some point.
What, are you watching trailers that aren't even for the Rage Psych podcast? Come on.
They just autoplay. I don't feel like getting up to stop it.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're looking for some demos, go check out some demos. Let's see. Or if you don't want to check out Steam demos, you could always go online and check out apparently an canceled GoldenEye 360 remake that was...
This fucking thing fascinates me because I had literally forgot that this had been like leaked.
Mm-hmm.
Like the very existence of it had been leaked.
Yeah.
And then when they came out with that other remake thing they did where they did the Daniel Craig GoldenEye they came out with. Like I'd assumed that's what it ended up becoming, not realizing that no, they actually did make the actual thing.
Yeah, and then apparently it got like hung up in a bunch of between the rights holders, right?
Yeah, it was a battle between the rights because it was a Nintendo game, and the people who have the Bond rights also needed to say give the go ahead, and that was just to maybe even consider releasing the game. They still would have had to have asked all the actors for all that stuff too.
Yeah. So apparently it got scrapped, which is just a real shame because there's actual...
It's basically finished, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know if you've watched it, but there's like a full long play, like a 2-hour long play of people playing it. And I mean, it seems like it's done. And it
even has that Halo thing where if you push a button, it goes back to 64.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can
which is fucking amazing.
Flip it back.
They put a lot of work into that remaster. Because I watched, speaking of what happened, I watched Matt McMuscles play it.
Oh, okay.
Which is how I found out it even existed because he put it on his channel, and I was like, oh my God, this thing looks great. And then they had no way of releasing it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to play it for Rage Select at some point. I've never actually played GoldenEye because I never have an N64. So
I played it for a little bit because when I lived in San Antonio, I bought a 64. And I actually had found a copy of GoldenEye with its box and everything. I think I gave it to somebody because I don't remember what I did with it. I think I just straight up just gave it to my roommate at the time because it's like, I don't really care about the 64. I bought this just to see what the fuss was about. And for the most part, they're 64 games. And by then, the 360 was already a thing. And I was like, this plays bad.
Yeah.
Thing. And so I just went from there.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, at some point, it's cool that it's out there. Apparently, it's just like on some file sharing services and such. Like it's not like you go to Steam and install it or Epic or anything like that.
Yeah. But man, it looks great.
Yeah, it actually really does. But maybe don't stream it on Twitch because Twitch is Twitch is still trying to find ways to make things shitty. Apparently Twitch, okay, so for a little while now, Twitch has had this thing where if you try to use a third-party app to run Twitch and not just watch it on Twitch's website, there's a big purple thing that comes up that says, hello, if you're seeing this, you're not already on Twitch TV. Click here to get the best Twitch experience. If you're seeing this and you're already on Twitch TV, please review your third-party tools. Most likely there's an ad blocker or a script running on your browser, making it like you're watching from another website as we update our performance, blah, 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 blah. So this is apparently a thing that's already known, but apparently now if you embed Twitch's player into a website, it will pop up a thing over the embed that says, get the full experience, go watch on Twitch. Now you can cancel out of this, but apparently it comes up from time to time.
That's so dumb.
Like, Michael, okay, we got this. We got the fucking music copyright infringement. We got the I don't know, depending on your outlook in life, the banning of the 13-year-old streamers. We've got, there was that thing where even if you had ads turned off, Twitch would just like throw an ad like right in the middle of your stream. What the fuck is going on, Twitch? Why, it's like Twitch is trying to... maybe they're like cash strapped and they're trying all this stuff to like see if they can keep the money rolling. But like I feel like
they're owned by Amazon now, so it's like it could just be a situation like the game one where whoever's in charge doesn't know what the fuck they're doing anymore. I
guess that's very possible. It seems like they're trying as hard as they can to get everybody, because as near as I could tell, YouTube Live is very much like old Twitch, right?
Yeah, from what I hear, a lot of people are going to that right now because of all this stuff. Mixer picked a really bad time to not be around.
Yeah, they should have like really just held on for about 8 months, and then they would have been like, hey.
They would have been the king. People would have been flocking to Mixer.
Yep. So, yeah, I don't know. This is some bullshit right here. Also, I mean, this means that like if I ever do, like, I don't know, like the embedding tool on Rage Select doesn't work anymore. Or it didn't work the way I had it set up. So I don't know. Maybe I switch over and start streaming on YouTube instead of Twitch. Like, I don't know. Tell me what the advantage is to Twitch and I'll consider it. But like, if it's just a streaming thing, then this is shit. This is garbage. This is dick fuck. Like, they even have embed tools for how to embed Twitch onto a website, right? They have iframe code that you can copy and paste into a website, and then if you're going to do that, but it's still going to be like, maybe you should come over to Twitch, fucking here's some shit in front of your things. I don't know. Well, speaking of Twitch, let's talk about Fortnite.
Jesus.
I don't know if you know this, Michael, but there's a new mode in Fortnite called Mando's Bounty, a new Mandalorian gameplay mode where basically you are set up to bounty hunt other players during the game. But if you are at the top of the ranking, apparently the Mandalorian will spawn into the game and start hunting you. And if you can fend him off, apparently you can get yourself a little Beskar umbrella for dropping into the map.
That's neat.
Yeah, I love Fortnite. I don't ever want to play it, but I think it's pretty cool. They also put
the thing. Every time
Eyes?
Fortnite comes out with a new thing, it's like, man, I wish I liked Fortnite.
Yeah. If I was like a 12-year-old, I'd be so into Fortnite. I'd be super.
Dude, high school me would have fucking played the shit out of Fortnite, guaranteed.
Yes, I played Counter-Strike when I was in high school, so
I was playing Halo.
Yeah,
a lot of Halo.
We also got a launch trailer because I think by the time this podcast is out, certainly the Neo 1 and 2 remastered editions or collection is going to be out, which I think is kind of cool. Like, I'm still a little about Neo 1, but Neo 2 was great. I really liked Neo 2. Like, Neo 1, I think gets a little repetitive, and I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and try it out now that Neo 2 taught me how to play Neo a little better than when I tried to play Neo 1. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can cross-gen save. They got all kinds of crazy stuff. It's going to be on the PS5. I think it's I don't know if it's going to be on the other platforms or if it's just the PlayStation 5. But I don't know. Michael, I'm going to keep asking you. When are you going to play Neo? I think you should play Neo. I think you might like
I don't
Neo.
know. Everyone keeps asking me between that and Demon Souls.
Oh, if you play Demon Souls, I will help you. I will help you play Demon Souls. I will help you with any boss. I will create a character. You tell me what character you want. I will create a complimentary character to help you play Demon Souls. I will totally do it. People can't see, but I'm making the Buddy Christ
Making finger guns
at Michael right now. Yeah.
Yeah, people keep asking me about that. You and my coworker friend Derek.
Play it. Do it. We also got a trailer. This announced a trailer for a game called Narita Boy, which I believe is actually on that Steam demo summer, whatever the fuck it's called, which is this little Team 17 game that's like a little pixel action game where it's about somebody who goes inside of a computer. It's got some kind of like Tron vibes to it, but I really like the art style. It's very charming. Everything has like a screen for a face. It's got some kind of like nifty pixel graphics and it's kind of like nice CRT effect across the screen. I think it looks really cool.
Is it me or does the symbol keep reminding me of the greatest American hero?
It is the greatest American heroes chess, sort of. It's not a point, but it's
it's very close to it.
Very close.
Super close to it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Damn it! I was trying to eradicate that. I was trying to get the song out of my head before it got there. You've just put it there.
It came out. It just came out.
It's just me. Okay, fine. I like Narita Boy. Also, I know I keep talking about it, and I've never even played the demo for it, but we got an overview trailer for Chris Tales, which is coming out in July, which is that time RPG with the various time periods and the kind of like super stylized graphics. I really think this game looks beautiful. I'm going to get a chance to take a look at the trailer. The thing I was saying about the trailer, though, is that it has very kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of what was that game that the Skullgirls people put out? Indivisible.
Indivisible.
It reminds me a little bit of that, except more of like a turn-based type of thing. But it's got a lot of style. It's got a lot of cool-looking character designs, a lot of nifty-looking animations. I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. I cannot wait for a Chris Tales. We also got a very short Evil Genius 2 World Domination release date trailer. This one had mostly just Evil Genius stuff, which absolutely looks fantastic and fun. And I love the art style. And it's basically getting the release March 30th of this year. So
neat.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, last but not least, big trailer. Probably should have put this in the main thing. There, last week, it was announced Total War Warhammer 3 is going to be a thing coming in 2021.
Neat.
Do you remember that there was a Total War Warhammer 2?
I did not, to be honest.
I kind of forgot about that too.
I remember hearing that name, but it never occurred to me they made a second one.
I mean, it's a full CG trailer, so there's not like a lot of like super, there's nothing showing anything in depth here. I'm still mad that it's not called Total Warhammer. Why is it not called Total Warhammer?
Reasons, Jeff.
I would remember it more if it was called Total Warhammer, and I'm sure that somebody at Games Workshop or whatever was just like, it has to be Total War. That's the trademark, and then we can put Warhammer after that. Or I guess Creative Assembly would be the ones who want that, but I think it should be called Total Warhammer. But that's just me. Yeah. So we got that, and it's coming out for everybody who's interested in that.
Cool.
From here, we've got some just kind of fun stuff. EA has basically talked a lot. This is part of the some of the previous stuff we mentioned, but there was an earnings call. Andrew Wilson talked about how the next Battlefield is on track, will be coming out this year, and it's going to be revealed in somewhere between March and June, and it's supposed to be a return to all-out military warfare, and it's going to be PS5, Xbox Series X, all that junk. There's going to be a new Battlefield this year, confirmed.
They're going to animate Nixon just to give a fuck you to the Call of Duty.
Well, I'm wondering whether it's going to go back to modern, right? Because it was Battlefield 1 and then Battlefield 5 was World War II.
Yeah.
Are they going to go back? And then also, is it going to have a single-player campaign? Also, can I get Bad Company remastered? Of all the dumb remasters, can I get Battlefield Bad Company remastered? I fucking love that game.
I always remember Battlefield Bad Company because of its trailers. So it was making fun of all of the games that were really popular at the time.
Yep. I remember the Metal Gear one.
Yeah, the Metal Gear one I remember a lot. The Gears of War one I remember all the time because he's like talking shit about the song. He's like, what does that mean? Like, my best dreams are like when I don't wake up. I don't remember the lyric anymore. They're like, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense.
Actually, it's funny. Thinking about Battlefield just makes me remember that there was a new, Michael and I are the only two people who care. There was a new comment etiquette today where Big Money Salvia makes, he gets tired of getting booted from team kills, and so he makes his own Battlefield 4 server that he's the admin of. And there is a glorious 5-minute montage of him team killing every single fucking person, like in so many different ways on this poor Battlefield 4 server. The people probably just joined, and then he's the admin, so he just team kills everybody.
Yeah, I saw him tweet out. He's like, "Who wants to join my Battlefield server?" I'm like, "This is going to be great."
You know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get.
I think it straight up says he's like, "Prepare to be team killed." In the tweets.
Yeah. I don't know. It's amazing. Speaking of amazing, we had apparently there's going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog Lego set. So
Sweet.
It's not this actual. It's not the Lego set that we see these pictures of. This is that program. I forget what it's called that Lego does, where if somebody comes up with a Lego set, they can kind of like submit it. And if Lego approves it, then they take it internally and build one themselves.
That's how the Ghostbusters ones first started because they were voted on that site. Same with a few others, I think. I think the Back to the Future one was the same.
Yeah, and also Adventure Time, Doctor Who, Minecraft. So yeah, for anybody that's interested, you're going to have some Lego. Now the real question is, will Lego Sonic be compatible with the Lego Mario play set? And I think they should do it. Make it
it makes them fight.
Make it Olympics one that where they could Anyway.
Actually, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. You can make a whole track and stuff like for the Olympic thing, the way that Mario one works.
Yep.
You'd easily do that with that.
Let's see. Speaking of Mario and Sonic, Michael, this one's for you. I don't know if you saw this story, but apparently somebody put out a bounty online, a $3,000 bounty for somebody to... Okay, so apparently when you beat Super Smash Bros. Melee, the credits are like a first-person shooting segment where you can shoot all of the names that come up. And somebody put out a $3,000 bounty online if somebody could provide a video where they hit every single name in the credits, and somebody totally did it.
I tried. For years I would try, but I've never been able to hit everything, like... on every one of those.
Apparently,
I always got like missed at least like 4 or 5 minimum.
Yeah, apparently it's pretty difficult. There's like 190 total, and the person who did it also had to submit, along with their gameplay, they also had to submit the video of their hands so they could be sure that they weren't cheating their way through
a bot or something.
Yeah,
that's really cool though.
So
I've always wanted to see if somebody could pull that off, and good for them.
Now you can. Let's see. That's good. In terrible news, Remedy. I don't know why this happened, but they released this very weird render of the Former, which is the giant monster that comes out in Control. And apparently they added in teeth to the Former, who has no teeth, and made them smile for this photo because they wanted to show the Former in relation to Lady Dimitrescu because of all of the like a size comparison chart. So
yeah, people have been doing a lot of those size comparison charts.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
It's pretty terrible. And last, but certainly not least, as my voice begins to fail, we're still going to do one question, but as my voice begins to fail, Michael, did you see this thing where somebody modded the Bernie Sanders chair meme? Okay, so there's a lot of different games. This is the one that I like the most, though, where somebody took the Bernie Sanders chair. Somebody has made a 3D model of the Bernie Sanders in a chair from the inauguration, and then modded it into Soul Calibur, and it has no animations. So it's just a Bernie Sanders model in a chair rotating around while a bunch of like weapons appear and fight the other person. Like there's no animation at all. It reminds me of when the they modded like the goose into Kakarot.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it's just like that.
And it's just the static goose model. And it's kind of amazing. It's kind of fantastic.
The internet, man, never change.
I think that my internet might have gone out while I was trying to show it to Michael, but it's kind of hilarious.
Perfect.
It's kind of hilarious because he never moves. He just like the chair will flip around and jump up in the air, but just the Bernie Sanders sitting there in his little mittens with his mask on, never moving, never doing a thing.
It's amazing.
It's pretty great. All right, Michael. I'm almost done. I'm almost out. We should do a question. We should do a question, right?
Yes, we should do a question.
All right. Let me see if I can
Don't want to
find a
disappoint
question.
the peoples.
Yeah.
For you, the people.
Let's see. Oh man, that's a long question. It's got a lot of implications. Let's see. I'm trying to find one from the Discord server. Let's see. Says let me see if I can. Okay, let's just do this one from Kate Josie. Kate Josie writes in and says, Dear Jeff and Michael, I finally beat Breath of the Wild. After years of not really understanding the game and getting off track with life and different projects and games, I finally beat Ganon and Max Koshia. I spent so much time training with systems and partying and upgrading all of my equipment. By the time I fought the two big bosses, they didn't stand a chance, and I felt such euphoric pride after the battles. Have you beat Breath of the Wild yet, or how did it feel when you went through an ordeal like this? Thank you, as always, and that is from Kate Josie. Did you play Breath of the Wild?
I started it, but I never finished it. Like I still have it, and it's one of those games that I'm like, I'll get around to this, and for some reason, I never did.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can say that, Breath of the Wild was one of those games where like there was so much in it that I had to choose. Like after I unlocked all 4 of the great beasts and like some of the upgrades and I got the Master Sword and stuff, it was like there was a moment where I had to just say, all right, I'm bored. Like, because it was optional, right? You could collect all the Korok seeds. You could go on all the sub-side quests and do stuff. And I'd done most of that stuff. And finally, it was just like, all right, I'm starting to feel the moment where I'm going to get bored. I'm going to go beat this. And to be honest, like a lot of times with a long game, like a long open world game, I don't know about you, Michael. Like you just talked about beating Ghost of Tsushima, right? But Ghost of Tsushima has like a linear arc, and you can do everything in Ghost of Tsushima, including all of the shrines, all of the bamboo challenges, all the fox stuff, and it's not unreasonable. It's like 30 or 40 hours to do all that stuff. Dude, fuck those Korok seeds. Fuck them. There is no benefit to tracking down every one of those seeds or like every single sub-temple, like going to every sub-temple in order to do the puzzles and the challenges. I just can't imagine spending all that time doing all of those things. It just seems like too much. Whereas like that's one of the reasons that I absolutely loved Ghost of Tsushima was because I could do everything. Right.
I never felt like it was too out of the way. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of upgrades to make it a lot easier on you.
Yeah. I actually think that like the kind of euphoria / exhaustion / thank God feeling for me tends to come at the end of more narrative focused games, because that's the other thing with Breath of the Wild is that there is a narrative there, but it's a little soulsy, right? Like it's a little bit more hidden. Like if you don't go find every one of the picture things, right? Like you're not going to have the entire backstory of Breath of the Wild. You're going to have parts of it, but like one of the reasons I like that game is because it's dangerous to go alone, take this, and then you just fucking go out in the world and start doing shit. But I feel like I get a little bit more sense of accomplishment when I get to the end of a long story game.
Absolutely. There's most of the time where I have that great like feeling of like, yeah, I fucking did it, or from stuff like that. Like Ghost of Tsushima is a great example of the latest time that's ever happened to me. Because when that final battle happened, I was upgraded to everything. That motherfucker didn't stand a chance to every fucking little thing I had.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, get him. It's like, oh, whatever shall I do? Poison. Like, just shit like that. Like, I loved it. Like, I loved having that great, like, I'm here to murder you all feeling, and you're going to get all murdered.
Yeah. And it feels like you earned it. I mean, I was thinking, can you think of an example of a game where it was like an open world game and there were still chips on the table, right? There were still things to do, and you were like, fuck it, I'm done. And then you just go and beat the final boss, and you're just like, all right, great, I'm done.
The Far Cry games do that a lot, in my opinion. A lot of times I'm like, I'll do a lot of these things, but then I'll just be like, I don't really need to get that many things for some of this stuff. Like, I'm just going to, go to the final part. Horizon. It was like that as well. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think is the full name of it.
Okay.
That game was overwhelming from the get-go, like with how much shit you can do. And I was just like, I'm never going to do all of this.
Yeah.
And so I did what I wanted to, kind of thing. But like, there's so much in that game that, I just sort of I had to let it slide, or else I was never going to get through it, kind of thing.
That's kind of
a few others, but it's very there's some games where if as long as it isn't like overwhelming feel kind of thing, I can definitely do them all. Like Ghost of Tsushima, like you said, that was like the only overwhelming thing was like, I think, finding some of the smaller things, but you don't need them to upgrade everything for the most part.
Yeah.
Whereas, and the same with Spider-Man, like I can get everything in Spider-Man because it's not that difficult.
Right.
But if I had to find everything again in fucking one of the Zelda games, I'm trying to remember, it was The Link Between Worlds. Like there's one of the missions where it's like, one of the side missions is find all the octopus children or something.
Oh.
It took me forever to get. But I did it, and I felt good about it, but I don't think I'd want to do that again anytime soon.
I think that's why one of the reasons why the moment that I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey and I finally like got out into the world and I saw the map and I was just like, no, I'm not starting, because I know that I'm going to.
That's another good example of one.
Yeah, that I'm either going to like mainline the main story, or I'm going to get halfway through and I'm just going to be like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Assassin's Creed 2 had one of the hardest ones, which was like finding all the feathers or some shit. That's what it was. And I was like, nope, because all you get is like a cape from it, and you're like, fuck you, sister, I'm not doing this shit.
The only thing worse than that were the fucking pigeons in GTA 4.
Oh my god!
And I will
awful.
Never do that. Never do that.
You want to know one of the weirdest ones that's ever existed? I don't know anyone who's ever done this one, which is the find all the cats in Superman Returns. There's 150 cats all over Metropolis.
No.
And I was like, no, fuck you. What the hell's wrong with you? Why would you do such a thing?
Absolutely not. I was trying to think, like, I do think, though, that there's... Okay, so I think there's, like, a sweet spot when it comes to really long games. Because I remember when I got to the end of, like, Persona 4... Golden or Tokyo Mirage Sessions was a good example where like I used to just sit down and be like, well, I'm single, I'm drunk, I'm broke, I'm gonna sit at home and just play Tokyo Mirage Sessions all weekend, every weekend until I finish it. And I did. And when I got to the end, I liked it a lot. But it was weird because like I liked that, but then I hated I didn't like Fire Emblem Three Houses, mostly because when I finished it, okay, this might be the weird difference, is that when I have to make the decision, when a game, it turns out that it's going to be so fucking long or so difficult that I'm going to have to make the decision to basically, like I said, to leave money on the table, like it feels like I've been cheated. Or like,
oh yeah, I get that feeling.
Yeah, that like I like whenever I get to a point where I'm going to stop enjoying a game if I don't beat it and then like finish it, it feels bad to me. And like the Fire Emblem game, I feel like was kind of like that because I just kind of got bored and it was like, all right, fine, just fucking where's the end? But you know what? The thing that really galled me about Fire Emblem Three Houses was that it was an 80-hour RPG times 3. Because I picked the golden deer and there's totally other missions for the other ones, and it's like, man, I look, I'm sure there's
it's a whole other plot for like 3 times over.
I know there are
all matched together or something.
I know there are people out there who probably played that game all the way through 3 times, but man, that just ain't me. Like, I am not the kind of guy to be like, you know what I want to do? I want an RPG that's going to last me for 240 hours.
Yeah, there was the one they did before that for 3DS was the same. I can't remember the name of it, but it was the one where there was there were literally 3 separate games kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like because the third one was a DLC that you bought if you had the other 2.
Yep,
kind of thing.
There was like the samurai faction, and there was like a dark, like a gothic dark faction.
And I still have it. I just never finished it because it was like you said, it was a good example of just like I just kind of want to get through this now.
Yeah.
But the fact that like they're like, you want the complete story, you got to beat it like 3 times. I'm like, I don't want to do any of that.
No, yeah. Whenever a game, I don't know. There's a point in time where I don't know. Nobody's listening to me because my whole thing is like I'd rather have a great experience that lasts for like 12 hours than like an experience with a lot of padding that lasts for 40 hours. Like I'm not the kind of person who says like 40 is better than 12. Like it's not that.
And I know you people want to bring up games like Resident Evil 2 and stuff. It's like, but those games are fairly short, so it's beating it more than once isn't that difficult.
Shit.
Whereas RPGs are not.
Well, shit, yeah. Resident Evil 2, I beat it once with Leon, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you want to do this again?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Put it on easy." Are you sure? I'm like, "Yeah, fucking put it on easy. I just beat this game. I'm gonna go back through it. Put it on easy. I don't give a shit. I don't have to prove myself to anyone."
Yeah, and you can buy the unlimited ammo guns if you want. Then you're just like, fuck it, I'll just pay the money for it so I can just play this again with all of the unlimited stuff.
Yeah, it really comes down to just how much. Yeah, but I'm a huge advocate for like smaller games with denser content than bigger games that feel like Michael. I have to go back. The latest save I have of Red Dead Redemption 2 is like a quarter of the way into Red Dead Redemption 2. At some point, Jason and I have to finish the last like 4 missions of Red Dead Redemption 2, which means I have to go back and replay all of Red Dead Redemption 2. And I'm not looking forward to it. Like, I'm not interested in replaying Red Dead Redemption 2. Like,
But he's got a plan, Jeff. He's got a plan.
I mean, I'm just going to go through and skip all the cutscenes. And I know that isn't the same as playing for fun, but it's like, you know, if Red Dead Redemption 2 was Red Dead Redemption 1, I wouldn't mind replaying Red Dead Redemption 1 because it was...
I wouldn't either.
It's tighter. It was shorter. It was easier. It was faster. You have to brush your horse as much, right? Like, you have to fucking deal with...
You have to do a lot of things. You don't have to clean your gun every 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't have to brush your horse. You could fast travel. Like, there's so much stuff you can do.
Yeah. So, I guess the answer is sometimes it feels good. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. And speaking of not feeling good, it's the end of the podcast. Oh my God, it's so late. And I have to watch that WandaVision before anybody spoils it for me. Michael, where can people find you spoiling things or not spoiling things that is not Rage Select? That was a really bad way of putting that. Where else are you on the internet, Michael?
You can find me on oneofus.net. There's a few new reviews that I've popped up of. One's called 4x4, which is a movie about a guy who tries to steal a car radio but then is trapped in the car. And then the next one that's coming out is a movie called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, which is another kind of Groundhog Day type movie about these 2 teenagers that are stuck in the same day.
Oh, I've heard about that. It's supposed to be pretty good.
It's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. I would love to talk more about it, but I
go to oneofus.net.
I'm not supposed to talk about them until they're actually out. So
yeah,
go to One of Us whenever that review's up, and I recommend it still.
Yeah, do it. And in the meantime, go to Patreon, Rage Select, mail at RageSelect.com. No, don't do anything. Don't you do what I say. Go to one of us and watch Michael Dare. I'm gonna go watch WandaVision, and you do whatever you feel like. It's late and I'm tired. That's it. Bye. Bye.